History is an echo, a whisper from a forgotten time, but sometimes the echo screams. This is carved into a 3,000-year-old stone beam at the Temple of Abydos, Egypt. Official history, the one we learn in textbooks, calls it coincidence, an accidental overlay of glyphs, an optical illusion. But our eyes do not deceive us. This is seawater trapped at 1,600 meters altitude, hundreds of kilometers from the nearest ocean. Official geology, with its theories of slow uplift, calls it an anomaly, a curiosity that defies the logic of geological time. And this is where the bones of giants found in the 19th century ended up, reported in hundreds of newspapers, photographed, measured, and then systematically collected and disappeared. Official history simply pretends they never existed. 3 impossibilities, 3 chapters violently torn from the book of our past. They are not mistakes, they are not coincidences. They are proof of a timeline that was not just forgotten, it was deliberately broken and buried. We will piece together the fragments, reconnect the pieces, and expose the fragile lie we were taught to believe. Our first case takes us to Abydos, one of the oldest cities in Upper Egypt. Here, for millennia, a stone beam almost 10 meters high was covered by a layer of plaster applied during the reign of Ramesses II. When time and erosion made the plaster fall, official history cracked along with it. What was revealed were not just glyphs, they were technical blueprints, modern war machines carved in stone with undeniable clarity, an attack helicopter with main rotor, tail, and cockpit, a tank with its protruding cannon and treads, and an aircraft resembling a glider or jet fighter, unmistakable. The initial reaction from Egyptology was panic, followed by denial. The first line of defense? Fraud. But the elevated position and stone patina, analyzed in 1999 by independent film crews, proved its authenticity. Then came Plan B, the palimpsest theory. They claim that Ramesses II's scribes simply applied plaster over his father Seti I's hieroglyphs and carved new ones on top. With erosion, parts of both texts mixed, creating an optical illusion. But this theory crumbles under the slightest scrutiny. The mathematics of coincidence are astronomical. The probability of random erosion creating not 1, but 3 distinct and recognizable technological images is virtually 0. Moreover, the context of the surviving inscription alongside, part of Ramesses II's title, speaks of repelling the 9 enemies. Everything points not to coincidence, but to a visual record of technology used in battle. It's not a trick of the mind. It's not a geological accident. It's a photograph in stone, a testimony to technology that, according to our linear and arrogant chronology, should not exist for another 3 millennia. The first proof that the past was nothing like what we were told. The same chronology that insists Egyptians used only copper chisels also denies the global cataclysms described by more than 500 ancient cultures. Modern science calls them myths. But the Earth itself, in its rock and water, bears the scars of truth. Marine creature fossils at the top of the Himalayas, over 8,000 meters high. The official explanation is tectonic uplift, the Indian plate colliding with the Asian plate, pushing the ancient seabed skyward, a process of 50 million years. Slow, gradual, uniform. But the slow uplift theory doesn't explain Tiwanaku in the Andes, a megalithic port city with docks for large ships, now 4,000 meters above sea level. And it certainly doesn't explain the saltwater lakes at extreme altitudes like Lake Van. If the mountain rose slowly over millions of years, erosion, rain, and snow would have washed away the salt eons ago. The water should be fresh. It shouldn't be there. The only explanation that fits all the evidence, marine creature fossils at the top of the Himalayas, port cities in the mountains, and isolated salt lakes, is a global flood event, rapid and violent. A crustal displacement or water pulse from an unknown source. A deluge, exactly as ancient texts from Sumerian to Biblical describe. Earth's geology doesn't confirm our linear, peaceful chronology. It screams the memory of a cataclysm. Impossible technology, broken geology. The pieces of a suppressed history are on the table, forming a terrifying mosaic. Do you already see the image it forms? If this search for truth disturbs you, if you feel there's more to our history than we're allowed to know, subscribe. The next proof isn't about stone or water. It's about the deliberate suppression of flesh and bone. If there existed beings from above, gods or giants who survived this cataclysm, as all mythologies insist, where is the physical proof? The answer, disturbingly, is that it was found hundreds of times and then systematically hidden. These are not legends. They are documented reports, bones of humanoid beings, 2.5, 3, even 4 meters tall, skulls with double rows of teeth, enormous jaws, discovered throughout North America, from Ohio to California. The pattern of discovery and disappearance is frighteningly consistent. The Smithsonian Institution, the official guardian of American history, is the protagonist of this conspiracy. Report after report, the story repeats. The institution arrives to collect for study, and the evidence disappears forever. No subsequent publication. No record in the public collection. A black hole of information. Why? The motive is simple and terrible. The existence of a race of giants on Earth destroys the foundations of Darwin's theory of evolution. Anomalies like this cannot exist in the linear narrative of progress. Therefore, they must be erased. It's not mismanagement, it's deliberate policy. A conspiracy of silence to erase from the historical record any physical proof that contradicts the official narrative. They don't want us to know that men of renown, as the Bible calls them, walked the earth, because admitting their existence is admitting that our history, our origin, is a complete lie. Advanced technology, a global cataclysm that redefined the planet, and the physical remains of a non-human or proto-human race. Together, these pieces don't tell the story of coincidences. They paint the portrait of a previous civilization, a golden age, a civilization with mastery of physics and engineering that we would consider divine today. A society swept from the map not by centuries of decline, but in days by a cataclysm. The few survivors, humans and gods, scattered across a world in ruins, tried to rebuild from fragments. Advanced knowledge became a dangerous secret, guarded by mystery schools, priests, and secret societies. Technology became magic. History became myth. And a new narrative, simpler and more controllable, was built on the ashes of the previous one. A history rewritten by those who wanted to control the present, by erasing the true and glorious past. This evidence doesn't just break our chronology, it breaks the illusion that we are the pinnacle of creation, the top of an evolutionary ladder. It proves that our history is not a complete book. but a broken archive, with the most important pages intentionally torn out and burned. In the next Timeline Breakers, we will investigate the 5 most powerful ancient weapons that were not physical. Proof that ancient warfare was fought on a battlefield that modern science hasn't even begun to understand. If you refuse to accept an incomplete history, if you feel that truth pulses beneath the surface of lies, subscribe and join the search. The truth is waiting in the fragments.